Ladies and gentlemen, this time is a welcome to another decided edition of the program ASHFORD GARLEY Live on Bridge Radio Africa. It feels great to be back home. As always, I know some people heard the name. Some people heard people talk about them. You've gotten the opportunity tonight to put the name to the voice and the face. This is yours truly, the medicine of the microphone, the golden voice of Liberia, the brother who doesn't eat iron, but he's definitely stronger than a lion. And now you know me, Garley. Welcome. It's time to give it up for Michael Kademi, Florence Tiller. Atlanta King is in the building. Oh man. And let me just do some quick housekeeping duty. Please respect the platform. Please respect the guest. And respect the host as well. As always, it's always good to disagree. But be civil, be respectful as we all disagree. We all cannot get along. But it is our responsibility to respect other people's space. So we're asking you to please do so. All right? In the meantime, as soon as we get a signal from our special guest, I go on to bring him live, pretty close to the camera. He's the Director General of the Liberia News Agency. Mr. KWAME OLDPA Weeks is our special guest tonight. So sit back, relax, grab something to drink, get the popcorn rolling. Oh man, please share the video. Don't be selfish now. Share the video. Invite a few friends. Right about now, KWAME OLDPA Weeks. Then at 9 p.m. later on tonight, we'll have Samuel P. Jackson. And that's how we're gonna do this tonight. Welcome. Murphy that's in the building, Momo Nelson, we said Jibe, and DC Wilson. How you all doing tonight? On dit que c'est l'homme qui a personne derrière. Merci pour votre contribution. À jamais. Ma horizon 4. À Boboté. You put on Croix Rouge. Oh man. Just like that, the Director General of the Liberia News Agency has arrived. Director Weeks, want to say hello and welcome to Bridge Radio Africa.
Good evening, ASHFORD. Good morning from my end.
Well, as a tradition, I will give you a minute or two to give us your opening statement, and then we can go from there.
I mean, I don't have much to say. I mean, the interview basically came after you contacted us. So let's just get into it. A lot of folks who don't know me, those who don't know me, I'm KWAME OLDPA Weeks, the Director General of the Liberia News Agency.
Well, first off, I want to say a big thank you to you. You have been doing such an awesome job of late, taking the microphone and the camera to the people, not only in Montserrat, but in other parts of Liberia. Tell us about the reason behind this. What is the inspiration? What are you doing this? You know, you should have said, you could have said, you know, let me just sit in the office and allow the reporters or the cameramen to do this, but you are taking the initiative yourself. You're taking to the people and asking them the tough questions and exposing some of the things that we don't know about.
Really, I don't call that exposure. I call that trying to upkeep the public trust. You know, because if you see ASHFORD, there's a concept of the public trust that relates back to the the origin of a democratic government, and this idea that the true power lies within the people, and in order for that to manifest itself, you always have to tell the truth as the fourth estate, members of the fourth estate. And I think here in Liberia, not that we lost that as journalists, it's just that the focus have been driven, been taken directly to the political aspect. And our style of politics in Liberia is so disheartening, to the point where we dig a big hole under you, and we put spikes in there, like we say in our Liberian parlance, glad bottle,
Mm-hmm.
and then we cover it with little straws and grass, and tell you, our friend, oh, come, we put cookies on there, you cross over it, and bam, you get into it, and they start to laugh. So that's where we are today, to the point where everything's taken in our country by businesses. Yeah, you got a few Liberians involved in that, but the sector is taken over by the Fulanis. You got the Lebanese. You have our mines. Only young folks that are able now. You got illicit mining going on, and all of these things. So I look at it for long. I'm like, okay, you got the high level of rape, you know, sodomy, societal ills, and all of this stuff. I like, okay, let me just take the camera on that end, to show the other side of the story, and let the public be the judge. But again, especially COVID helped us during the time of the coronavirus, where the country was on a lockdown. I was beginning from March, and cars were not plowing the streets. We were able to go from home to home. Then it went from humanitarian to another way where you know you're showing the country at the same time. So you have, especially, I want to give it out to the bulk of those who watch our programs from the diaspora, especially in the US of A, and they make contributions, and so many lives have been saved. If you're not talking about Elijah now, that is about, will be in the US for 2 weeks to go perform a cranial surgery, to a little girl named Sadiatu being saved from when we went to Cape Mount, and so many people, migrants and homelessness. I mean, there's a whole lot, Ashford, and I mean, it's just something that is unfathomable.
Now, do you do you do a follow up to these storage? One of such storage was the young lady who claimed that this Nigerian pastor was just in the constant habit of molesting young girls. And one of the things I admired then about you is that you didn't only talk to this lady, but you went further and look up the court documents. And I want to know where we are with this story.
Oh, you're talking about Liz. We interviewed Liz a couple of days ago. We went back to her residence after this particular pastor got busted. He's currently serving, he's been remanded at the Monrovia Central Prison. And according to the information we're having, Pastor Samson Otis from the City of Mercy Church in Beaumont Bridge, right there, he's a serial rapist. I mean, he got over maybe 15, if not 20 victims or survivors under his belt. And members of his church continue to believe in it. It is alleged that he performed all these, he cajoled his victims and threatened them in so many other ways. But if you what's so appalling about his situation is that everybody that talks about him or that accuses him of rape, they mention one thing, and one word you will hear: coconut, you will hear alcohol, and you will hear about fire. These three words, you got to hear them. And there was this one girl named Surprise. All the victims will mention those names. So, and Ashford, Liz were able to keep the clothes that
Mm.
he raped her in 4 or 5 years ago.
Wow.
And when that girl brought that plastic bag out, I cringed. You could see the stain and all of that, and she was crying. That was the first time we spoke with her. But then a group, Grace called Lawani, LWANI, it's a Liberian Women Advocacy Network Incorporated or whatever in New Jersey with the base there, One Grace Quarantine War. They managed to take this girl's case and send her to the hospital, the doctors, STDs. And my man, look, it's just so hard, and you see all of these things, amid all of these things that are happening in Liberia. You still got folks who come on the internet and they just want to see this country, destroyed again. After what we've done to it, the fabric of it has been destroyed. We lost our place on the international scene and all of that, trying to pick up all of these pieces back. And the level of vitriol, that is being spewed out there for one another is bad. Very, very bad. Liberians are the only people who are not using the internet for the purpose for which this particular thing was created.
Now, Mr. Weeks, why are people angry? Number one. Number two, sometimes people say things about you, not specifically you, but they don't gather the facts and just get up and say things. In your case, people call you criminal. Like, I was shocked today, and I was wondering if this is the same KWAME Weeks that I know. We lived here in Detroit for 10 years.
Correct.
Before you went back home, or before you were deported to
Right.
You don't even know the circumstances behind your deportation. Now, Mr. Weeks, I don't want to take the lead to tell these people, but I want us to, for once, put this to rest. Tell us why you were deported to Liberia so that the Liberian can have a sense of understanding, because some are saying all kinds of things as if they know you more than you know yourself. Mr. Weeks?
As for those, they have legitimate concerns, and there's a little bit of naivety also, and you have to know that envy is when you envy someone, it leads to self-evaluation. Anytime you compare and try to compete inadvertently, then envy comes about. So if I see what ASHFORD is doing, and then some sort of it either going to lead to a positive envy or a negative envy. So when it's positive, then you started your show, you talk about the crystalness of your voice and how your bilingual skills and all of that. So and another person, if Kwame we see ASHFORD now, my envy instincts will kick in, but are they positive or negative? In most other Liberian cases, they're always negative. And that's what I have the problem. You cannot live in America and don't know why people get removed from the United States. And in fact, the word, they don't use deport. The ICE, immigration custom and whatever, the term as ICE, they use, you go through removal proceeding. That's how they call it. And when you have a final removal order, right?
Mm-hmm.
No matter how you try to adjust your status, they will tell you have to leave the country. So you either give voluntary departure, and then you can file for something they call I-4185 to have your status adjusted. And ASHFORD, this is not something that I have time to clarify. I have a memoir coming up soon. Will be published. I know it's going to be a bestseller. There's a company already in the U.S. We're working on something like that. But just to tell you that take Mexico for example. every day, over 5,000 to 10,000 Mexicans are just taken, snatched away from their kids They just walking on the street. They put them in the bus. In the next morning, they cross back. They take them back to Mexico. Is that they criminals? You know? And Ashford, I'm Kwame OLDPA Weeks. Date of birth, all the information you want. Why is it these guys will not publish my mugshot? You know, I live almost 10 plus years in America. I never even had a packing ticket. I'm talking about a packing ticket. You know, so it's not something that I have to come and clarify to say, okay, this is it. Let them remain stupid, if I may use that word, because when you don't know something, it's always bigger than you. And the very first thing, in Monrovia, for example, you have a lot of documents leaking. Call Liberian immigration and say, can I get the file from Mr. Weeks? Or go to the U.S. immigration or somewhere. You know, it just costs you $9.99 to look up somebody. You know, Bill Cosby is in jail for rape or so many other stuff. Are those people special? Am I special than them? You know, am I saying that you know, I'm a perfect person? No. But to assert that I got removed from the United States because of credit card fraud, some even say drugs, some say prostitution, some say all kinds of dumb stuff because they just want to get at, you know, at the president, you know, and they would just they want to put you because they're like, okay, we're gonna go for the good guy, you know, of the work that we're doing. So we say, no, we're gonna shut him down, you know. Oh, you're this, you're that. But Ashford, let me ask you this: who in Liberia is not a criminal, according as per this guy's way of thinking? Name one person. You even get a pastor here, they will call him that. So it's not something that we have to justify for. But we cannot spill the beans. We're going to leave them like that to think what they want to think. And you know me better. That's important.
And Mr. Weeks, I think for the benefit of this platform, earlier this morning on the 3rd, you mentioned something about political asylum, and I believe you can further explain. You know, that's because
Ash,
we can live here in Detroit.
Right. But I still, let me stop you there. I have paperwork, right? I have paperwork that is being worked out. So I can't delve, you know, it's just like some people you say it's an ongoing investigation. We cannot, and you know, it's some crackhead comes on Facebook and I'm gonna be, all he needs to do is just go get whatever they need to get and just put it out there. But you know, I'm not going to, you know, jeopardize my process, say what I did to want to be whatsoever in America, and then you know, and it's not something that I have to justify. I owe nobody explanation. If you think you want, the only person I owed explanation who wanted to know what I is the president who appointed me to know that I have you know, an impeccable record, you know, to not, you know, because when at the end they go vet you and then they find out that you're not who you say you are and so forth, then problem. I only owe President Weah, you know, explanation, you know. But
where are all these allegations coming from? I know your wife. I know your 2 children. They live 15 minutes away from me. I know your
please don't reduce them.
3 now.
Yeah.
You know, and
for Kwame and Gabby.
Okay, for people to say Ashford is tribalist, that's why he's protecting Kwame. I have my own beef with Kwame Weeks. I have my own disagreement with President Weah. The nephew of Kwame Weeks, Michael Gilman, and myself don't see eye to eye. Michael Gilman went on the record, spewed lied about me to a lady in Switzerland that I'm a pimp. I can't take care of my home. We have that story. Why I can't take up the angle on Kwame? But Kwame has not done anything in terms of being a criminal like you people are saying. So I wanted to give you the opportunity because this thing is very bad. You know, the fact that you
Ashford is not bad.
You got to go against them. This is not bad. Yo,
Ashford is not bad. Just the same gloom and what I know the picture they're painting about Liberia. It's not bad. Okay, you just hold your horses. When you say it's bad, you have an opposition in this country. Actually, let me ask you. Let's assume what they're saying about me is truth,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So these guys who were saying it, let's assume they had a daughter,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And that daughter was a good girl gone bad, right?
Mhm.
All of a sudden, that daughter, and no disrespect to them, that daughter became a prostitute. And then maybe 10 years later,
Mhm.
she decided, said, no, this prostitution, I don't want to be a prostitute no more. She
Mhm.
becomes a better person, right?
Mhm.
She becomes a better person, and then with her husband, and they're about to put the ring. These guys will jump on that pulpit, even as them as the father, and say, no, don't marry my daughter. She used to be a prostitute, and they will still stop them. So there's no way you can convince people on how they think about you. And I told you, mind you,
Mhm.
envy is a self-evaluation. Every time you evaluate yourself, you sit down in the corner, you'll be like, oh wow, I wish I could be like LeBron James or Ashford Garley or Kwame Weeks or whatsoever. Ashford, the work we're doing here, we go places where people tell us, hey, we beg you, you can't run to be represented. They think we won't be represented.
Mhm.
See the group then, or what it's in, those guys, or those
And,
or
and, and, and,
Liberians in it.
and woman and woman, I'm gonna be busy at multitasking. I just blocked a couple of the folks that can get come here without any evidence and call somebody criminal. This is not your platform, and I won't tolerate that nonsense. You come here and insult, I will just get rid of you. Simple as that.
Right,
Go ahead,
right.
complete nonsense.
Because that's the language they understand. Ashford, these guys will not stop. They will not stop. You ask for now. Let me tell you. Let them let for example the president make mistake and say, Ashford, come and handle this, or you're appointed to this. The next thing they will start digging up the so-called dirt and that or whatsoever. But how do you live in America and just label somebody something that you have no proof, nothing of, and then you live in that great country? How do you live in America and not able to come out and say, okay, case in point, you tell them, you call them on this platform, say, okay, I remember maybe he went to this silver lot or this other place, the where he came from or whatsoever. If you haven't walked in a man's shoes, just stop. Just stop. Because whatever you do, you got another 9+ years for this government. You can come at us, you can do whatsoever. By the time you come, you'll be having gray hair in your own country. Nobody will know you. You'll be like Rick Van Winkle. All your politics will be down there because when you enter the airport here, that crap you're talking, you can't say it. You can't say it. So they can be on that side and say, spew all the gibberish, the garbage, whatever they can talk up on that end. And it's because this is our Liberian platform. Because what time do I have to come and stand on a show? You know, I spend all the time on the show instead of talking about how we can save living in the diaspora, how much remittances good Liberians are sending out here, their projects and all of that. I can't talk about somebody who writing, oh, that man that this, that man that. The people who get up in the morning and they start cursing the president, start cursing people, calling them, they want that, 90 million criminal, they want that people don't want to go follow Ashford. There's a lot your viewers want to know here, and some of the challenges, things that are happening in the country, you know.
Yeah. But last week, Mr. Weeks,
Yeah,
you supposed to be the mouthpiece of this administration.
right, right.
Liberia News Agency is not an easy entity. It's not a small entity, so to speak. But you were on record. I don't know if you were in a hurry to break the news. You came out and said, unconfirmed report has it that the vice president was diagnosed with COVID-19, and come to find out within a few hours you came back and retracted your statement. You have access to the vice president. You have spoken with this lady for over 2 hours. You have access to people that are close to the lady. One of the things you should have done on the weeks, reach out to the
Yeah.
lady when you hear such a thing. You have access to the minister of health, but you went on to say the vice president, and that's the second biggest person in the country.
Right.
What was that about?
Uh, Actually, Ashford, people didn't read what the headlines or what the caption. That caption said, "Unconfirmed reports say VP Taylor tests positive for COVID." And let me read it back to you. Okay. It was August 11th. Unconfirmed reports reaching the Liberian news agency has hinted. Are you listening?
Yeah.
Has hinted that the VP has tested positive for coronavirus. A source in the office of the VP confirmed to Lena that she was flown out, right? Due to respiratory illness. We're quoting what the VP office told us in this release, what we wrote. But they declined to comment further when we asked them based on the information we got, right?
Yeah.
Then we come out with the final paragraph to suggest that Lena is yet, Lena is yet to authenticate the information coming in. However, the entity is making frantic efforts to subsequently inform the public on the matter. Okay? So, this is called a drip story, right? This was a drip story. So when we put the story out, right? Well, okay. The buck stops with the head of the agency.
That's right.
So no matter what, and we have an editorial staff that we do not interfere with. As I sleep, they are working, right? I run the Panorama series. I control that. So that's why you see I stay behind, do the interviews and all of that. But the editorial part, so when a reporter comes with that information, it is incumbent upon the editor-in-chief, the overall, to give the final okay. When they send the okay and something of this nature happens, right? No news entity will want to retract, will want to apologize, will want to clarify. But in journalism, these three things happen.
Right.
Right. And when they happen, even the CNN and all of these different DW, all of these different people, they do that. So when that happened, we did that and instantly issue an apology, when we did the apology. And later on, GBC, what do people name? GNA, Ghana News Agency, and other people broke the news. Front Page Africa came back and said confirm. Now, how can you say confirm when you had not even said something in that line before? But I mean, that's how they put their stuff out. We can't quarrel them. But before that time, from in the morning, as usual, they went for they didn't go for whether the agency, they went for the head, they would talk all kinds of stuff.
Mr. Wiz, according to you, you contacted the office of the VP. They gave you the first set of information and then decided not to say anything. But
it's not me as a person.
Okay, but after you apologized, you also said that the reporters involved were reprimanded, correct?
Of course, that's administrative actions were taken. We didn't say they were whatsoever you used.
They were disciplined, so to speak.
Right. We use administrative action. It depends on us. We could tell them, say, you don't enter the building, you don't report for this week, or we have to send a new embedded reporter to the VP office or so. So that's not something we just say administrative action were taken, and we did that.
So to your understanding and belief, you were in no error with this publication. You as the head of the Liberia News Agency.
How are you gonna say that when we still have a letter of apology up?
But the question here,
how do you apologize when you have not offended? I don't get it.
But in this case, you apologize, right? You regret the publication of the story, correct?
The entire agency. That's why I said the buck stops with us. And how can we improve this country if we're not willing to say sorry to people when they feel offended? I don't get it. In America, there you see people say sorry, right?
That's right. So I mean, you say sorry when you do things.
CNN, yeah, CNN have retracted. I see Anderson Cooper. I see all of these people. They retract statements and they write back. They put out disclaimers. They retract statements. They put out apologies. They put out that. They avoid lawsuits and so forth. That's the profession we're in.
But
Except you say we
do
should
you
do it
talk
somewhere
to
different.
your editor in chief? Because with this institution, with this magnitude, this is the Liberia News Agency we're talking about here, Mr. Weeks. This is not just
Right.
2x4 radio station that just want relevance.
Where was the Liberian News Agency before it became what it is now? We must commend the late Honorable J. Nangbe Slaw, who were able to breathe air into this dead agency. And after he did that, he brought it to life. And when we got that, we thought to digitalize it, which we did, and we added the social aspect. So say if I had taken over the agency and just continue, with the status quo, nobody would know. So I mean, we don't want to spoil the work that we're doing. A lot of people, Ashford, I get over 100 mails a day in my inbox for the agency. People saying, "Look, we're here. This is what the people did to me." This, imagine what kind of government platform you will see will take the cameras out and show things that people would think that they're taboo. Imagine that. We talk to gay, we talk to straight, we talk to handicaps, we talk to people who are disenfranchised, we talk to people who disenchanted. So many people we talk to, people, medical malpractices and all of these stuff, we speak to them.
Okay, we have reached the halfway mark. And I want to open up the telephone line now. If you have questions for Mr. Weeks,
Right.
you can be calling in and to ask the question. The telephone number is 248-979-17. Please respect the platform. Please respect our guests. No use of profanities. And of course, you can ask whatever question that you deem necessary. Mr. Weeks is here to answer your question. Again, the number is 248-979-1718. Now, as we wait for callers to begin calling, Mr. Weeks,
I like Steve Wood. Go ahead.
when you go from county to county and interact with these people, speaking of call, want to go straight to the line? We'll have Murphy on the line from Minnesota. Murphy, hello and welcome to the show. You're live on the radio. Hello, Murphy.
Hey, how are you, Ashford?
Good, I'm doing well.
I just want to say thanks to Mr. Weeks, but the last learning at the university, and can you just ask him whether they still did it ever start the thing? Because I remember your co-host said that she checked and that was not happening in Liberia. Just for you to clarify.
Hold on a minute, Murphy. Murphy, just hold 1 minute.
What Murphy wanted to know?
Murphy, could you please repeat your question, Murphy?
Oh, so I said Mr. Weeks was on your show a while ago, and then this thing came up with about the digital learning at the high schools and all the universities.
University.
So I took part on the show that day, and
you lost him?
No, I didn't lose him. Murphy, are you still there? Murphy? I think we lost him. Murphy, if you have the time, please call back. Okay. We'll have a 713 number, 3582. Please tell us your name. 713 is the area code. What is your name, please?
Hello?
Yeah, please tell us your name. You live on the radio. They don't want to listen to the telephone. They want to listen to their how you call it 30. Let me see here. Okay. We're having some study here with the. Okay, there's a 678 number. The last four digits 3559. Tell us your name, please.
Yes. Actually, how you doing? Good evening, and good evening to Mr. Weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for the work you do back home. I follow your work. I really appreciate what you're doing back home.
Thank you so much, my brother.
Your narrative, not too long ago, you mentioned something like they have to wait for 9 years. You said something like that. What are you talking about? Who's gonna wait for 9 years? And when you say 9,
I like that. Yeah, let me. Yeah, I had to take a swipe at those who are partisans. You know, who take everything to be all about politics. So they know what I was talking about. So I was just being a little bit sarcastic there.
okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
We have a 713 number. The last four digits of your number 3582. Please tell us your name.
This is Ali. How you doing?
Hey, Aliyu, welcome to the show, my brother. You're live on the radio. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm very, very happy to, for the first time, engage Mr. Weeks. As somebody who despised the CDC for its behavior toward the Liberian people, I personally love KWAME. And that is because his behavior transcends party. He's not a partisan of the CDC. People must understand that he might be working for the CDC, but he's a partisan of Liberia. When I see this man in Sakiboma town, it's a town that has a deep history. My grandmother told me about the history of that town, dating back to way back before the days of King Saul Bosco and all this. You know,
Wow.
when I see this man inside Grand Bassa County and understanding the history of how the Bassa people lose their territory in Mangibi to Firestone.
Thank you, my brother.
Man, when I see this guy go after rape cases that are due to lapses in the security imperative, and he exposes these things, and I see these things, I said, to hell with anybody who is talking about deportation. What's up with deportation? This man is living. He is serving his people. It's not serving George Weah.
Right.
KWAME is not serving George Weah. Can't you watch this guy's video and see the effort this guy is applying to bring the ill in society to light? Can't you see it?
Amen.
Because he was appointed by George Weah. This is hatred to the core. You know, I know I burst like this, but the reality is, I follow you religiously, and I really up to 10 people in the CDC-led government that were like coming with. We say we're looking for patriotic Liberians, and now we have a guy that will expose the police, a guy that will expose government officials who are doing wrong in society, and you condemn the guy anyhow just because he's appointed by George Weah. The man is better than George Weah. So why can't you give the guy the props when he deserves it? Look, I'm getting upset. Let me leave the line. Thank you so much.
Thank you. KWAME, what do you make of Aliyu perception about you, man? And he's not the only person. A lot of folks that follow you, and we follow the
I like everything except for the part where he said I'm better than the president. You know, I can't be better than the president, of course. But I love Aliyu. Aliyu, he follows us religiously, and everything he said here, you know, really touched me. And he just used the word. He hit the nail on the board. That is hatred to the core, you know. And I was reading one of the other guy comments say, you know, Trump deporting babies for America. Are they criminals, really? You know, and I mean, I don't know, Liberians. I just don't understand us. You know, if you don't know somebody, don't just go out there and just say stuff about them, you know. But I mean, what Aliyu, look at in your country there, ASHFORD. Take there's a group. I told you, look them up. LWANI, headed by this lady Grace.
My career is Liberia.
Yeah, Grace Guarantin Guar Follow them. They're spending a lot of money here chasing. I'll tell you on the 25th.
I thought this is great. She's doing such a good job. Yeah.
She said people inbox that girl to tell her, why are you doing this? She said, my country first. On the 25th, Ashford, there will be a protest. Let me break this news here. On August 25th, it starts from Vamoma House all the way to town to the Capitol. Young people coming out. Those guys will be wearing black T-shirts and wearing skirts to bring attention to the high numbers of rape our daughters, babies. You know the guy who raped the girl in Bapulu with the razor blade stories being released? You know?
Wow.
And I see some of these guys that sit here because they got enough data, their phone can blink, they work, get an iPhone, and they just want to go after people. I don't have energy for that. Ashford, we're in America, we did all that thing. Where did it come from? It contributed to our removal process today. We're here. We came back, we didn't hate no government official. We accepted our fate. If Ambassador Salonte comes on here and says Mr. Weeks were removed from the United States because he committed a crime, I can say yes. I would jump up, say yeah, it's true.
Well, folks, if you're joining us, we have with us the general of the news agency, Mr. KWAME Weeks, as our special guest tonight. He came here and tonight as our guest, so give out a few clarifications. He said he did not commit any crime in the U.S.
Not a traveling ticket.
Not even a travel parking ticket he has.
Parking, right. I dare any one of them to go say, yeah, I parked car and I got ticket, all of it. My record says only Ashford stamp. Let me tell you what's on my paperwork. It says NON #CRIM, like Mary. It says non-crim, means you're non-criminal. Go to ask any immigration man in America. Say, what do you mean by non-crim? NON #CRIM.
Okay.
The reason they got to find my book. It's coming up soon.
Let's go to the telephone line. We have a 302 number. The last 4 digits 0065. Please tell us your name.
Yes, actually, my name is Amos Sango, and I'm calling from Delaware.
Amos, Mr. Week, please take a note because we're gonna do this in increment. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, mine is not really a question, but just to buttress one of the previous callers' comments about Mr. Weeks. I don't follow his politics, and Mr. Weeks, I must say that I commend you for what you do, the job that you do, exposing the ills in our society, as well as, some of the terrible things that are happening. People are getting sick and dying. I mean, I watched your live, I think it was yesterday, with this young girl that was raped and with the mother.
Yeah.
Stories like that. I follow you religiously. So, but
we're going back there
What
tomorrow.
I urge you to do is to keep doing what you are doing. Just ignore, because sometimes when you are doing there are comments and you just ignore them. So
Okay.
Some of those people, they have nothing to do just to sit down behind the iPhone and then say stupid stuff. Do for themselves. So just ignore them. And in fact, I mean, what's the point of bringing your deportation on national stage so what? You are living a better life than many of those people that are insulting you and all of that. That's really terrible. So be non-political just as you are. I see you like very political job.
Thank you.
Just do your job. Keep doing your job. I mean, do not be deterred by people. I mean, I don't support the politics. I'm not a sedation. I'm now CMCP or whatever PP.
Thank you, Amos.
Somebody is doing the right thing. So thank you so much, Kwame.
Thank you, Amos.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Go to Moses, I believe. Steve Bowler, you live on the radio.
Thank you, Mr. Garley, and thanks to Mr. Weeks for accepting the invite to come on. I'd like to recognize the Liberian people as always as the most important people on earth. And Mr. Weeks knows that the Liberian women are the most beautiful women on earth.
Yeah.
He knows that. He knows that you'll be in some serious trouble. But I have a concern for Mr. Weeks for Liberia that I'd like to ask Mr. Weeks, what is his agency doing about it? 2018, I was in Liberia. I was there. As a matter of fact, I was there at the end of 2017. Just before I went there, I know Mr. Weeks and before this whole CDC winning the elections, we've connected through Facebook, and we had a couple of conversations that are brotherly, friendly, and private. But when I came back from there, 2018, Thomas Fala, who is currently the aspirant for the senatorial race, was in Phoenix, Arizona, and we went on a town hall meeting. Sekou Kane was there, George Lobo was in the town hall meeting as well, and I raised up some of the findings. I had done some research in Liberia, some of the findings I came up with, and a conclusion and a prediction to Mr. Fala that within the next 5 years to 10 years, Liberia could be faced with the pandemic of what you see now going on today. I also told him that the rate of addiction will rise up, prostitution will rise up in the country, and the rate of violence could rise up. Now, these are all projections that we will see gradually if we do not address them now. But here is a question for Mr. Weeks. What can his agency do in order to not only shed light on this issue, but to also attract professionals who might not necessarily support the CDC-led government to come to address some of these things, and our international partners can also see the gravity of this pandemic that we will be faced with as a nation. Thank you so much, and I look forward to your answer.
Okay, buddy.
We have Mr. Alex Jones. Hello, Alex.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, ASHFORD, for having Mr. Weeks. And Mr. Weeks, I want to thank you for coming to the press and facing the Liberian people is very commendable.
Thank you so much.
I'd like to reiterate that it's complete nonsense for people to just go and spread innuendos and attack people personality without any evidence. So I think people need to have evidence, and I think attack people on issues. So having said that, yes, you have my questions, 2 short questions, if you may.
Go ahead, brother Alex.
The Liberian News Agency, I couldn't find anywhere in the budget or any law that created that agency. I know that it was set up according to your website during the OAU conference, and that it spreads, it collects data and information throughout Liberia. So my first question is, do you not think it's a waste, since you have the Ministry of Information that is spending around $2 million a year to do exactly the same thing? You also have the President's press office, who is also capable of collecting information and data and spreading it, especially when this is an appointed position. So obviously, it cannot be objective because you serve at the will and pleasure of the president. So why do you need a news agency when you have all these press and newspaper that maybe should be supported through grants and other programs, rather than the government going out and getting a third or fourth news? Is it just a propaganda stunt? And this is not in respect to just Joshua's government, because it was in existence before that, but I would say I want to view why should it even operate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a 612 number. The last 4 digits of your number, 9634. Please tell us your name.
This is Ben. I'm calling from Minnesota. How are you?
Welcome to the show. Good.
Yeah, I would first of all like to say thanks to Mr. Weeks and thanks to the job he's doing. However, my question has to do with the vice president. As I listened to him, he said that after they got the story concerning her COVID result, they called back to follow up, and those who they called into the vice president office refused to give any other information. Wasn't it that enough to have told them that there might have been something wrong somewhere and not to have run that story? Because ethically, if you heard something and you went back to verify whatever was heard, and the person that you are going to verify this story from is unable to verify it, why didn't you still run the story? That's my question.
Thank you.
Great question, brother.
And the last question before we go back to you, Mr. Weeks, the 763 number, the last 4 digits, 8361. Please tell us your name. 763 8361.
Yes,
Please tell us
yes,
your
sir.
name. What is your name?
My name is Cece Goy. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Okay, go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hey, I don't have a question, but I have a comment, if that's okay with you, ASHFORD.
Go ahead. You got 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, I appreciate it. I want to say thanks to the brother in studio. I think your story is a powerful story. For me, unless you had, been convicted of some very horrible crime in America, like rape or other stuff,
Right.
I don't think you should hold your heads down low. There's a lot of people
Never.
who go to Liberia.
Never.
And they suffer mental issues and mental crisis. You aren't able to accept
like
it. So to see you smiling and exuding happiness and accepting your fate and realizing that you can still make a difference no matter what part of the world you are, I think that is a story,
Right.
powerful story
Right.
that you need to continue to preach out there, that you need to, because you don't know who you will bless in Liberia, who is feeling down. So I'm really happy. I'm sitting here and watching you. I'm really not worried about the government right now that I'm seeing you. I'm really excited to see a brother who has managed to turn lemons into lemonades, and he's living his life. So I'm really appreciative of that. One thing I will urge you, my brother, is that now that you've been in America and you've seen all of the things that happen and how people try to care for the less fortunate, the vulnerable, I hope you can use the platform, whatever platform you got and whatever experience you got, to try to highlight the issues of rape and gender-based violence and all the other things. But I really want to tell you today that I don't know you from anywhere, but I'm just happy to see you and see that you have accepted your fate and you realize that this is not an end to your life and you're still making good of your life. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having him on the show. I appreciate the conversation, brother.
Thank you. We'll now go back to Mr. Weeks to give us a few responses, and then we can continue. Go ahead, Mr. Weeks.
ASHFORD, I mean, listen to Amos, the rest of the guys. He said, don't listen to them, and thank you so much, Amos. If I was listening to them, we won't be here. Thank you so much. And to Steve on his 2018 and talking about prostitution and rape, what Lena needs to do to attract other people to address this particular situation. And Brother Bole, we always talk all the time, and you come across most time as objective. Sometimes I get to you when you try to, square off a little bit to go far right, and this is what we're using the platform for. We try to highlight those things that will make people to want to, to think about Liberia. So say we did the story on the pastor. We're not going to leave these stories. Take people like Romeo Lee, a musician who struggle, with drugs and all kinds of stuff. Diasporans were able to collect money. This guy is doing his video. You should hear his new hit coming up. There's so many surprises about to come, with the time. Most of those stories we work behind. So, I mean, you got my inbox, buddy. Inbox me, whatever proposal you make. I will take it as far as to the president and see what we can fix in our country so that it will be okay, so that people we need to have a stable place so that we can argue our differences. For Alex John, he say, why we need Lena? Lena was created by an act. Not by there's an act that created Lena in 1979, and Lena do get grants. It was the Germans were subsidizing the agency, but then we and Burkina Faso are the two agencies and subsidy. So are we 100% balanced? But we most times see the cup halfway full, and we look at developmental aspect of journalism. So we don't delve too much into mainstream journalism. So you will not see certain stories coming out of the Liberian News Agency. And if you inbox me, I will send you the actual act that created the agency and where it says that the Minister of Information is the head when it comes to signing bilateral agreements, you know, and we are more like a project. So if a journalist comes to Lena and you're working, you can always get fired anytime because it is, you know, pay as you go and so forth. So it gets grant up to this point. We're still getting grants. It's like when we stop halfway, nothing there, then we go to government, and government, you know, meet us halfway. On the issue, the guy who asks about COVID-19, he said, why you didn't forget and all of that. I could come here and say, what could I, should have? But we cannot interfere with the running of the agency when it comes to the editorial aspect. You have you know, a veteran like Pete Collar who handles that aspect. So when we have, it's just like everybody know you for making the best donors, and you did the dough and everything, you made it, and you go to bed and you didn't know Roche went and squeeze itself on one of those donuts, and you fry it. One of your customers went and took a bite of that particular donut. You can only come back and say sorry, like McDonald's, they will give you extra, you know, packages of burgers and say sorry to you, call you inside and so forth. So, I mean, yes, it was wrong. We recognize that fault since we come. This is the first time, and we will learn from here. You know, we're not big to say sorry. We will learn from here, and we've done a personal letter to the VP office that we will be sending during the course of this week, and it is our hope, because we depend on you out there in the diaspora. Sometimes we highlight these stories. Ashford right here has given more than $200-300. This man who don't give money like that, you know, and he watched these people. He watched these stories and he gave, you know, and it's a good thing, you know. And the family that you guys talk about, you know, all of these things today, migration, so many stuff we talk about. And the last guy who were commenting saying that, look, your story is a powerful one. You know, he made me very teary, you know, that you can move from a point, you know, where from the abyss. You know what it means in America? You enter America from day one. And this is not something I was willing to spill, but because of what that guy said, you enter the country from day one, and you don't have a work permit, and you spend there almost 10+ years fighting to get your status, and you're with your wife gives birth the same day, and then immigration come pick you up because somebody jealous of you and say, oh, we'll report you to immigration because you don't have paper. And they write immigration tons of letters that we have in our possession, you know, right, to tell you the evil that, you know. I don't want to spill the juice of the memoir that I'm writing, Ashford. It's going to be coming up. I have a big company, they have it, the illustrators and all of that and this and that, and we have all the facts to tell you how Liberians hate. They just hate you for no reason. That's why they will not provide nothing, because there is nothing there for us to be provided. And I was saying, yeah, I never steal my man rest and soup before and this and that. Yes, all of us not steal, but have I done anything illegal in America? If I get into that place, let God sweep me off my feet. You know?
Well, again, we are out of time in which we have
so
our
sad.
now George Lobo, you know? to know he's patiently waiting for Ray phone number. The boy from Bombing Highway, he wants to connect with him. George Lobo.
Okay.
I think we have
I will be with Ray. I will be with Ray hopefully tomorrow.
We have a 612 number 3309. Please tell us your name.
Yeah, Mr. Garley, how you doing?
Good. Tell us your name, please.
This is Prince Williams, and I'm calling from Tennessee.
Welcome to
the volunteer stage.
Welcome to the show, Prince.
Thank you very much. Well, Mr. Weeks, I want to say that thank you very much for making such a clarity and giving such a no personal but helpful information to dispel the notion that people think that if you're removed from this country, then you have
yeah.
I want to be honest with you, because I myself was in your case. I was in this country on deportation removal for almost 10 years because of when I accumulated unlawful status because of the Civil War. And I was on a deportation removal for 10 years. It was just a technicality within the system that kept me here because of the Liberians that were here. And a number of times immigration wanted to exploit the loophole and remove me illegally, but they were challenged by my lawyers. I had a good lawyer who challenged them.
Yeah, I didn't have one, and I had Liberians writing. I had Liberians writing all kinds of. Oh man, I don't want to talk about it.
So in fact, just let them know that staying in this country illegally is not a felony. It's a misdemeanor, and it's not a felony. It's not a felony crime. It's a misdemeanor, and you can justify your staying. For accumulating unlawful status. But your owner was just unfortunate because the immigration system changed, new leadership come in, plug the loophole and take advantage of people. But thanks for making that clear. There are a lot of Liberians who are going through the same thing you went through. And since you are back in the country and contributing positively, keep up the good work. And my question to you here is that when I was coming up, I attended the Colonel Academy before the war. I was interested in being a journalist, so we were given a research paper to do research on public broadcasting. And I studied about the National Public Radio and how it was established, the act that established in the United States. And I did a comparative comparison with that is how the Liberian News Agency was established. It seems to be it was the same framework.
Right.
We noticed that the Liberian News Agency now is heavily being politicized and is being heavily controlled by government. It does not enjoy the same sort of liberalism and same sort of latitude that the National Public Radio enjoys here, which is they are void of being controlled by government. Rather, they work as a private but yet public funded organization that allows everybody to freely use it to their own fullest benefit. Now, the Liberian News Agency, as it is now, is very politicized. What do you think that needs to change? Do you support that the Liberian News Agency be given that same agency as the National Public Radio so that it can be free of any political control or political influence so that everybody can be free to use it, whether you're opposition, you're not opposition, you're in position or disposition, whatever position you are? Do you support that?
Thank you, Prince.
I support that.
Do you work on the modalities to make sure that that comes to fruition in Liberia so we all can be able to enjoy the national public?
Thank you, Prince. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
May his soul rest in peace, and that was Honorable Slaw's dream. There is currently a bill now as we speak now in the House for the Liberian News Agency, and he will be laid to rest on Friday. I think Friday or Saturday we'll be going there. But he has a bill there, and this is what the guy said right now is in that bill, so that the agency will go fully autonomous, and then we can do all of that. But we hope that will happen, and if NPR is working for the people, why not the Liberian News Agency work for its people? And that's why you see the level of diversity we've added to the agency alone make people who will call me and say, look, I'm not a sedition and so, but when I watch your platform, I know what's happening back in Liberia.
Your final statement, Mr. Weeks. Thank you so much for taking up time of your business schedule, and thank you so much for the clarification. Let him go and say I wait for George Ria too because I brought you on.
Oh Lord.
My man. Thank you, my brother. Again, you got anything else to say just before we take leave of you?
I want to say hi to my sister Patience D. Slew, although she's political now, but I just want to wave to her. Cute girl.
Okay, Kwame. Thank you, my man. Enjoy the rest of the night.
You too, ASHFORD, and hope you. I can't wait for you to come over.
I'm coming in November, man.
My man. Okay, yeah. See you.
All right, buddy. Merci pour votre contribution, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, this is ASHFORD GARLEY live on Bridge Radio Africa. Coming up next, one of the finest economists Liberia can boast of. Mr. Samuel P. Jackson is in the building, folks. as soon as we get a signal from Mr. Sam P. Jackson, we will bring him up close. In the meantime, Mr. Philip Boswell is in the building. Aaron Anderson, Patient D. Slew, Steve Bowley, Alex Jones. Oh, man. Octavia's Gilman is in the building as well. But I just saw the Papi Jackson. Where are you? Yumotro Kranga, congratulations. Happy belated birthday. You celebrated your birthday the weekend. And let us show how you live to see many, many more birthdays to come. Yumotro, Doris Kranga, Kolu S. Johnson, James David, Boyu Smith, Mr. Steve Boland, Andrea Clark, Great Corentin Goa, Tina Smith. Oh, man. Mr. Victor T. Brooks, Nabad Masukwa. You know, this is the theme song, the song that introduces the giant. And this is the song that also tells you that it's either time to go or time to come in. Tomorrow, we're going to have Quincy T to do a little bit of comedy for us here at Bridge Radio Africa. And Quincy T is, in fact, the CEO of Juicy FM in Liberia. And this young man still practices his craft as a comedian back there in Liberia, you know. Well, if we can't get Mr. Jackson, I'm afraid we're gonna call this a early night, you know. You know, something when you go to class, they said no good school, you go home earlier. I know we've been doing this for weeks in, weeks out. This is not an easy job, though. To come here consistently every night to do this, real tough job that we do here all the time. A lot of folks don't even give us credit for this. I guess Mr. Jackson is not coming, and folks, I'm afraid that's all the time I have to be with you. God willing, we'll be here tomorrow night with Quincy T. With the Love Book Comedy on Bridge Radio Africa. Until then, please allow me to borrow the wordings of the wise man. Tough times don't last, tough people do. The height of a man is never known until he rises, and there's no second chance to make that first impression. Don't see okra and swallow bone, because you can't hide your nakedness from being bucket. When white men know you, friend, black man. This has been yours truly. As for the giant, the medicine of the microphone, the brother who doesn't eat iron, but he's definitely stronger than a lion, the golden voice of Liberia. That's it. I'll talk with you.